Welcome back to the Aubergine Chef. Today I'm visiting my sister over in San Diego, and we'll be making gingerbread houses for her and her kids. This is my sister, Jocelyn Combs. Her kids will be joining us later to decorate some of the gingerbread houses. And this is just a really basic gingerbread recipe. If you can, give yourself a couple extra days to make it extra sturdy. We're just going to do it all at once, so it might be a little bit softer than yours will be. But if you make the dough, and then you need to refrigerate it for an hour, then after you bake it, let it sit out overnight so it stales. Then when you glue it together with some royal icing, let it also stay out overnight so that way it gets nice and hard. And that's like a 3-day process. But if you do it right, you should be able to do it in just one day, so it's not a big, huge deal. We're going to be making dough for 3 houses. The recipe on my blog at www.theauberginechef.com will have a 1-house recipe, a 2-house recipe, and a 5-house recipe. So you'll have all of those available to you. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. So in our bowl, we have 3 pounds and 3 ounces of all-purpose flour, 1 ounce of baking powder, 15 grams of ground ginger, and 10 grams of ground allspice, and we sifted those all together. Remember that sifting breaks up all those hard chunks, especially like in the baking powder, and it also helps aerate and mix your ingredients together. We also have, in this bowl, we have 5 eggs or 10 ounces of room temperature eggs, sorry. We also have, let's see, over here, we have 4.5 tablespoons, about 52 grams of lemon juice. We have the zest of 3 lemons available right here. We also have 1 pound, 2 ounces of brown sugar, and we also have 1 pound and 2 ounces of room temperature butter. And we also have 1 pound and a half ounce of molasses, and it's all ready to go, and we're all measured out. So we're going to go ahead and get over to the mixer and start mixing our ingredients together. Yep. So the first step is we're going to cream together our brown sugar and our butter. More? Yeah, bring it higher. So the next step is to, on a slow speed, go ahead and mix together the molasses, the lemon juice, and the lemon zest in a slow, steady stream. So you're just going to slowly add it in on a slow speed, all those 3 ingredients. And it's easier if all 3 of them are mixed together prior to adding them. So put them in a bowl together and then stir it up. So that way the molasses is nice and loose and it's not so thick. So the next same thing as the molasses and the lemon juice and lemon zest. On a slow speed, you want to go ahead and incorporate your eggs. Alright, so the next step is to add in your flour, your spices, and your baking powder. Remember, we sifted them all together. We're going to go ahead and mix them on a low speed so that way the flour doesn't spurt back at us, although it might still because this is a pretty small bowl. And then we're going to kick it up to a medium speed until everything's nice and mixed together. Alright, and that's pretty much it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put it in a bowl, cover the bowl with plastic wrap, and we're going to refrigerate the dough for an hour. Alright, so our dough was in the refrigerator for about an hour, and now we're rolling it out and cutting out the pieces. We've already gotten started, got a nice head start. Just roll out the dough using pieces that are manageable. You don't have to worry about measuring it out or weighing it out. You want to roll it out to about 1/8 of an inch thickness. This dough is really, really soft, really tender, so it's very easy to break. But the good news is it's very easy to knead back together. And you can pretty much knead it back together over and over and over again, as many times as you need to. Make sure you use plenty of flour for your surface to make sure it doesn't stick. This will also help make the dough a little bit stiffer. And then the next thing you need to do is you need to cut out the templates for the gingerbread house. And this will be available on my website in a PDF file. I'll have it attached to the blog post as well as to the recipe on the recipe page. If you download this in the future, you can't find the blog post. And it's just 2 pieces for the roof, 2 pieces for the sides, and 2 pieces for the ends of the house. And the ends of the house have a triangle on top of it. And this is the end of the house, and this is the side. The roof is a little bit bigger. You want to print it out on a heavier paper or cardstock so that way it holds its shape a little bit better. And you also want to cut out a little bit few extra so that way if you break one or something happens, you don't have to go back and make another one. So I would suggest making 2 extra pieces for every house you do. So if you do 1 house, you should cut out 4 of each template, for example. Or, well, not 4 of each template, 3 of each template, sorry. And because the dough is so tender, you can actually use a bench scraper to cut it out. And when you cut it, make sure your lines overlap just a bit, crisscross, so that way you know for sure you went all the way through to each side. And then when you cut your next template, line it up with the last one, so that way you're getting as much pieces out as possible, and you don't have to keep cutting out extra lines and rolling out dough more often than you need to. Now normally you would cut out the rest of the dough, but I just want to show you. When you're moving the dough, you want to make sure you use a spatula or the bench scraper because it's just so tender. And you just want to lift them together to bring it over to the sheet pan. Okay, and one trick that you can do is you can cut out windows into the gingerbread for the sides and then fill it with some crushed up Jolly Ranchers or other kind of sugar candy like a Jolly Rancher, and then it'll melt and form a solid pane. And I actually have an example of that just coming out of the oven right now. Okay, so you can see here it's melted, so that way it's this nice solid piece. If you have some parts that aren't melted all the way to the corner, just put on some more candy and just melt it again. You can also get a thicker pane this way too if you keep piling on. And it's okay if we overbake these gingerbread houses just a little bit because they do need to be a little bit sturdier, so overbaking them helps them get a little bit sturdier. And most people don't really eat gingerbread houses, it's usually just for display. Alright, when you cut out your pieces, go ahead and put them in the oven at 375 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes until they're nice and baked and sturdy. Let them out and cool all the way down completely. If you're doing the window pane technique, it's probably best to do them on the top rack as opposed to the bottom rack. So the next step after you make your gingerbread pieces and you let them cool off, you need to make some royal icing. And for this recipe, I used a really big batch of royal icing, a 2-pound, 2-ounce batch. I used 5 ounces of egg whites. You can use the egg whites that come in a carton, like the egg beaters or the egg starters. Those are pasteurized, so it's actually a better idea to use those. Sifted powdered sugar, you need 1 pound, 13 ounces, and about 3 grams of cream of tartar, or just a pinch of cream of tartar. And you just mix them all together using the paddle attachment in your mixer until they all come together. Then you put them in a bowl. You can keep it in your mixer bowl with a wet paper towel or a damp kitchen cloth on top of it so that the icing doesn't dry out while you're working with it. And that's pretty much it. It's very easy to make royal icing. And you can make it thinner or stiffer by adjusting the number of egg whites that you put into the ounces of egg whites that you put into the mixture. So all we need to do now is to assemble our gingerbread house. So the first step, and it's much easier if you have someone helping you. So when you get one of the end pieces. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some glue on the bottom. Now if you wait overnight to assemble the pieces, they'll be nice and stale, so they'll be even stronger. But you can use them right away if you don't have the time. So put that here. I'm going to put some glue along the edge and then just press it in like that. And then once you get those pieces together, then we can put the front side on with the door. And feel free to use a lot of glue. It's not a big deal because if it comes out, it just looks more snowy. Alright, so once you have all your pieces together and the 4 sides together, go ahead and let the royal icing dry on these sides for an hour or so, and then do the roof. Just put the royal icing on the sides like that, and then let that dry for about a good 30 minutes or so it's all nice and solid. Alright, so it's the next day. We went ahead and let our gingerbread houses dry overnight, so the icing was nice and firm. And the gingerbread itself got really firm and hard as well. So you might want to let your gingerbread dry overnight if you have the opportunity to do so. Otherwise, just overbake it in your oven slightly or stale it at about 100, 200 degrees for an extended period of time. And that'll rush the staling process. But leaving it out overnight is the best way to get it nice and crisp and nice and hard to work with. So we're just using some basic candies. We got M&Ms, Skittles, peppermints, candy canes, Twizzlers, and we're using royal icing as glue and for piping decorations. It's just very simple stuff. You can use leftover Halloween candy, you can use cookies, use anything you can find, and just let your kids have the creativity they want to use. We've also used coconut for the snow along the bottom of the gingerbread houses, and you can also use royal icing's uses just like for wedding cakes and pipe icicles and other decorations that actually hang off the roof. You can also pipe royal icing decorations like snowflakes and such on wax paper or parchment paper and then peel them off afterward. And a lot of the techniques that we use in the cookie decorating episode, you can of course use for decorating gingerbread, because gingerbread is nothing more than just a cookie. So my niece and my nephew have also been decorating houses, so I'm going to let them talk about their houses and let you all meet them. Here.
Hi, I'm Jonathan, and I thought I could probably make the Skittles like kind of go until it stopped, but I didn't really want to, so I thought I would waste it all. So I just put a smiley face. I kind of try to make a star with the icing,
Okay.
and try to put some coconuts to make it form a little. And then over here I kind of put windows, and over here I'm still trying to make like a little rectangle to keep going. I don't know if there's enough M&M for that. So.
Okay, and you're also dipping your candies too, right? You're dipping it in the icing.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because it's kind of it's kind of complicated when you like do it, because your fingers will get all messy. So it's just a little easy dab, put, and then done.
All
So
right.
the next one.
You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Janelle, and I put all of this, a smiley face, a windows here, and I put some, what are they called?
Peppermint patties.
Peppermint patties, and I put a star and a one here and a candy cane right here, and I put a flower right here, and I was trying to make a pattern, so I forgot my pattern, but over here I made a candy canes and a one again, and a window, and another a line here, so I can make snow come here, and I made candy canes.
Skittles and M&Ms.
Skittles and M&Ms, and I put them to look like they're white snow, so like the snow's falling down.
Alright, so that's how you make your gingerbread houses. And remember, it's a great activity for the kids, and for a final dusting, feel free to use a little bit of sifted powdered sugar. Hope you learned a lot today. Thanks for watching. And remember, the Aubergine Chef, demystifying dessert one recipe at a time. And from my family to yours, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays.
Happy holidays.